What's up, guys? Dustin McDaniels back here with another video, and welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're going to be getting into the season preview of the Minnesota Wild. We'll take a look at how they did last year, my predictions for this upcoming season, as well as taking an in-depth look at their contracts and talking about a couple players and expectations for this upcoming season. But if you guys are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future action, as well as if you guys have friends, 5 friends, tell them to subscribe. We're trying to hit 750 subscribers before the end, I would say, of winter time. So need your guys' help to do that. But without further ado, let's go ahead, get into this preview of the Minnesota Wild and taking a look at their team stats for the season. They did make the playoffs. They went 46, 25, and 11 for 103 points. They had a very solid regular season before getting knocked out in the playoffs. Taking a look now at individual stats to really highlight some players from last year. Obviously, Kirill Kaprizov, a down year. He didn't really play all of the games with a little bit of an injury bug, but man, 40 goals, 35 assists for 75 points, plus 4 in only 67 games played, which is pretty insane if you ask me. Zuccarello, old man Zucks, 67 points in 78 games played. Matt Boldy, who I expect a big year from this upcoming season, 63 points in 81 games played. Joel Eriksson Ek, 78 games, 61 points. Goodrow, 38 in 82. I was going to say after Eriksson Ek, it does drop off from 60 to 38. Ryan Hartman, Spurgeon, Addison, and Sam Steele. Marcus Foligno rounding out the top 10. Addison is going to be interesting as he does play defense, and maybe will take a big step up with Matt Dumba gone from the Wild. Should be interesting to see there. But looking at their team breakdown when it comes to cap space, they do have $1.6 million still left in the bank. Not a lot of draft capital for next season. Obviously, they have their first and second round pick, but after that, kind of goes away. No third round or seventh round pick. But taking a look here at their breakdown of the contracts, honestly, they're definitely top heavy, I would say, with Kaprizov, Boldy, Eriksson Ek, and then on the back end you've got Spurgeon, Brodin, and then between the pipes, Gustafsson and Fleury is taking a little bit of a chunk, but he is on the last year of his deal. Just taking a look at upcoming free agents, we've got Zuccarello at 35 years old. This might be his last kick at the can, at least in Minnesota. You've got Marcus Foligno, 32 years old. This is more of a prove-it year to see if he can earn himself another deal for next season. We've got Hartman, Duhamel, I believe is how you pronounce his last name. You've got Patrick Maroon, had moved over to the Minnesota Wild. Goligoski, Goose, has got one more year left. Addison is still a restricted free agent. They have not yet made a deal for him. And then Marc-Andre Fleury, obviously between the pipes, is in the last year of his deal. Probably his last one in Minnesota, if you ask me. But looking at their team, and you're really thinking, okay, who's going to need to have a big season if the Wild are going to make a push for the playoffs again? Obviously, Kaprizov. You've got Boldy. He's got a very extensive contract, $7 million until 2029, which is insane. You've got Eriksson Ek, who's 5.25 until 2028. So both of those are great deals, solid players. I expect big years from each of them. Boldy, obviously, coming off of a decent year, 63 points. If he can be around 65 to 80, I think that'd be a solid season for him, as well as Eriksson Ek was a little bit of a down year compared to the year before that. If he can have a big year around 65 to 70 points, I think the sky's the limit. Obviously, Kaprizov, if he can stay healthy, you can expect him to be up around that 90 to 100 point mark. In my mind, that is a sure lock. On the back end, Spurgeon, I think, needs to have a bigger year. Brodin is going to have to play very big minutes for them as well. And I think Brock Faber, really going to be interested to see what he can do coming into the team. Obviously, 20 years old. Addison, if they can re-sign him, restricted deal, maybe like a bridge 2-year deal, like $2 million a season or something like that. I think both of those guys are going to be 2 players to look out for potential breakout years. I'm really interested about Brock Faber. And then between the pipes, Gustafsson, can he take that next step and become their true number one goalie? It's still technically a tandem right now with Fleury and Gustafsson, if you really think about it. All the accolades and history that Fleury has, you still have to consider him, I wouldn't say an elite goaltender anymore, but I would still say a very, very good goaltender to have as like a backup 1B type goalie. On the front end, if you need somebody depth-wise to really step up this upcoming season, I'm really interested to see if Rossi can step in and find a way to be a potential, like a second line, if you want to call him, elite type player, almost like a Jake Gensel type player, if he can find that next step and maybe get like 50 points this year, whether he's first or second line. I think that would be a huge boost for the Minnesota Wild. Freddie Gaudreau, Marcus Johansson, I mean, those guys are a little bit older. I think this is really where you need to rely on your youth in Kaprizov, Boldy, and Eriksson Ek to carry you to the promised land this year if you want to make a chance, as well as Gustafsson being a top-notch goaltender. So really interested to see what the Minnesota Wild can do this upcoming season. When it comes to my official prediction for them points-wise and where I think they will finish, I expect them to be around about where they were. I think 98 to 105 points is a safe place to be. If you're wanting to put a prediction on them, I think they'll be fighting for second or third for the division again. So they'd probably be going against either Dallas or Colorado in the first round, or maybe if St. Louis can surprise some teams this year, potentially the Blues. So they are going to have a hard out in that first round again to try to move on in the Stanley Cup playoffs. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments of how you think the Minnesota Wild are going to do this upcoming season. Who's going to need to be the breakout player for them in order to get over that hump? Again, on the back end, on paper, it looks thin when it comes to superstars. I'm using quotations around that. They're pretty thin when it comes to that. So does it have to be Faber? Does it have to be Addison? Does it have to be Spurgeon? Does he have to play bigger than he's ever played before in his entire life in a Minnesota Wild jersey? On the front end, does it need to be the three-headed monster of Kaprizov, Boldy, and Eriksson Ek? Who else needs to step up? Does Hartman need to step up? Rossi? Can Patrick Maroon fill in a nice third, fourth line role and get the boys buzzing when he needs to? Let me know what you guys think down below, as well as Gustafsson. Can he be the 1A goalie that they've been searching for a very long time? Let me know what you guys think down below. If you are new, again, subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed this video. Drop a like. We are growing like crazy over the past year, to be quite honest, and I can't thank you guys enough for the love and support. It really does mean the world. But again, I hope you guys have a good one, and as always, stay dusty.